Hi, I'm Jessica Rey, the White Ranger on Power Rangers Wild Force.
Wild Access!
And you're watching Behind the Power. Philip, they're scooching. Wouldn't even think that all of that work went into this. I'm just crying in pain. It's not your fault that I blinked and they used someone else's neck. Creative genius.
Welcome to Behind the Power with Rick Shick. I am sitting here on the sofa today with a very amazing Ranger, Jessica Rey, the very first Ranger I ever met in person and talked to.
Wait, what?
At the comic book store.
Oh, you're right. That's amazing. Here I am, finally.
So we're going to talk today about her being the first White Ranger since MMPR. And I know Aqua Rangers count as MMPR, the way that we look at it. So I'm not lying, but you can correct me in the comments if you want, because that's totally fine. This is Delphine of Aquatar, and Hydrohog is preventing her from getting to the water. They had no idea what they wanted. They just knew that she's reaching toward the water and she can't get there. And it comes in as a visual effect shot. And we're like, well, what visual effect are we supposed to put in? There's no notes. There's nothing from them. So all on my own, I decided, all right, she's trying to reach toward the water. Her glove is white, which makes it sort of keyable, which means I can cut it out with the computer and then a little paint work to finish cutting it out. And I'm going to cut out her hand and use it with a fill, a different fill. Instead of using her hand, I fill it with like this watery texture that I made, and then just have it reaching. I offset the timing. So there's like an extra watery hand reaching off of her hand toward the water. Because I don't know what an Aquatar Ranger needs to do to get to water. I just got to make something goofy up off of the footage. So that's what I made up. They totally accepted it. And then this is also very fun, I think. When he steps in front, I decided he would be kicking her hand, her extended aqua hand. And if we go frame at a time, all of that water that's splashing away, I hand drew it. Each frame is just me drawing where each drop's going.
Oh my gosh,
and then filling it in with the color later. Yeah, right?
So is it easier if it's white? You mentioned the white glove.
The fact that it was white over this dark sandy color really helps because it stands out more. Like your lovely costume over here over the black, if we wanted to make that dance around, that would be easier for me to do because it's over a contrasting background. If she were just over white, it would be harder to do.
Get out of the water!
So the force field, that also would have been hand drawn, maybe 3 or 4 frames, and then repeated and looped on top of itself, and then put a color through it, in this case, blue. There's a little bit of it coming in from the side. That would have been a hand-drawn element that I'm then able to move around, like put an axis on it and spin it and make it go up in the air. We also color corrected the water to purple around them. So as we were talking before about the glove being white, because in here, their costumes are darker than the water, I was able to basically make a key of their costumes and then put that watery texture into the dark bits of their costume. Like you'll see, it doesn't go into their helmets. It doesn't go into the boots. Yeah. But there's like a wavy thing on them. And then because there's supposed to be this it's 2-dimensional, but supposed to be a 3-dimensional thing going around them. When they reach out, their hands get smeared like they're touching it. Yeah. And one of them leans forward, so I have her head get smeared. I'm just making stuff up. Like, I don't know what it, other than they're in a force field, we don't know what to do. And it's interesting because nowadays, like if this were an episode, or even in your days, if this were an episode that you had been in, we would have totally removed the platform that they're standing on in the water. Yeah. But back then there was no time for that. No one cared about that. It's like, that part's acceptable. That's fine. Paying
attention.
Yeah, don't spend time fixing that. Just put the stupid effect on it and get the shot out and over, out of the way.
How much time did you have to do all of this?
Pretty much as fast as we could. So, because this show was 5 episodes a week. So a season would be like 60 some episodes. So we were just go, go, go. And that's why just like drawing a quick thing and animating it, painting a quick thing and being done with it. There was, it was whatever we could do to do it as quickly as possible. And as artists, we always want to make it fun. So like, like them reaching out, like no one told me to do that. If they had known I was going to do that, I'd say, don't bother doing that. Right. But I'm working at night on my own. And it's just like, here, do this. They don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, I'm going to smear their hands.
Like, I'm going to do what I want.
Yep. And that too, that'd be frame at a time. The smear of the hand. It went like, now it would be we'd set up like a little micro that would run a program to do specific things to make that smear and animate it. and we'd set in keyframes. But back then it was just, nope, I'm just going to smear on each frame. It's like Photoshop,
So if
but
you
at
had
30
to
frames
do
a
this
second.
today, how much time, like the comparison of the time spent doing that
So
and then doing it
That
today?
is an excellent question. I think I'd actually end up spending more time on it because the expectations would be much greater for what the result needs to look like.
Right.
So this was probably quicker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a great question. Love it. The Hydrohog, his whole thing is taking away the water. He sucks the water out of the lake, and I love these poor extras just standing, going like this. It's just so silly. But I think they actually lined them up pretty well. So I had to do a reveal of the water and like what happens? How do they take the water away? All that is just up to me to figure out how to do the water. So I'm having it get sucked up into a water spout.
Cool.
And the water spout's hand-drawn elements that are layered in and spinning around and then drawing mats and moving them frame at a time. A little bit of dust blows through to show it's dry. So there's a water toy. This is where the crazy artist nerd comes in. So that water toy gets sucked in. And so I just cut it out and then I painted a little patch of dirt to hide where it originally was. And then I animated it moving around the water spout. And then the clouds are from a cloud tank element, like in Indiana Jones when the clouds appear. That's all shot in a water tank with some dye that looks like clouds. The very last thing I do is it's all hand-drawn electricity. So the lightning in the sky. And of course, I want to highlight the fact that I cut out this little water toy, made it zip around the spout. So it's going to get hit by the electricity and then shoot up and out of the scene.
Wow. Like I wouldn't even think that all of that work went into this.
It just goes by like
really
that.
had to have some creative genius going on.
Oh,
because
well,
if they
that's very
weren't
kind.
telling, like if it wasn't in the script, like this is exactly what needs to happen. And you're just like, well, let me figure out a way to.
Yeah, I imagine the script just said water disappears.
Yeah.
Wild access!
So I didn't know that you were a robot.
I
you
am just
turning
hearing it
robot?
for the first time right now.
I think it's a phone or
That's
something.
our phone. That's our growl
And it turns
phone.
into a robot
Yes.
that's posing, and then it turns into you.
Yes. I don't know that that's anywhere else in the show where we are.
It's only the transformation. Is this your main morph?
This is it.
How did your morph go? Because I remember all the like arm waving and shoving something forward.
Yeah, so ours wasn't
what was
crazy.
yours like?
It's kind of funny. So sometimes we'll at cons do like a pink ranger panel, or I wasn't pink, but they allow me,
Pink trim, right? I guess that's enough.
to go in with them. They'll add like a couple, like a white and a purple in there.
Mhm.
But we don't fit into the yellow ranger panel, so they're just go in with the pinks. So they'll say, "Can everyone do their morph?" And we'll do them all at the same time. And mine is done within 2 seconds, and everybody else is like still going. And I'm just like,
They have the big choreography.
how did you guys all do this simultaneously with 6 rangers or 5 rangers or whatever? I can't imagine, because even with ours was like we had a phone, a flip phone. That's what we used.
Is that
growl
what that?
phone.
That's what. Okay.
And we
A
would
growl
flip
phone,
it out
okay.
and then
Gotcha.
press the button. And we would go wild access and just that. And that was it.
Oh,
We
that
would
was
put
it.
the phone to our ear and push our hand out. And even then, it took us, a million takes to get it all at once. So these other morphs, I think it's Brennan season, where like Dino Charge, his morph, like I'm just like,
You'll pay for that. It's morphin' time. Dino Charger, ready. T-Rex Charger, engage. Energize. Unleash the power.
no, how do you all do it all together at once?
It's a good one.
All I can think of is like, cut, okay, going again, cut, going again. And I'm just like, oh, I would not want to be in that season.
Well, that's you until the helmet goes on.
And I had no idea. Here I am thinking I look amazing.
We did this a lot too, of having the Japanese footage, put the American footage over the top of that, and then cut out like another piece of the Japanese footage, like cut out the Japanese helmet and have that come as a third layer on top.
Right.
So that you're sandwiched between Japanese footage and then another hunk of Japanese footage. And then once the helmet goes over your face, that is the Japanese footage inside the helmet instead of your face. And the helmet scene, when it's your face over that streaky green background, there's like a little bit of smudgy stuff, which I think is probably trying to hide the Japanese behind. Where I would smear the green in or just resize the green from like the outside edge, stretch it a little bit, from the other edge, stretch it a little bit to fill that in. And then it would just cleanly be you over the green.
Right.
But it looks like they may have just left
why
the
didn't they do that?
quicker.
No.
Less work.
Pretty sad because this is what you see in every single episode.
Yep.
So you would think that they would have spent maybe a little bit more time on it. But
by the time it filters down to us, because you're very early on in the whole scenario, there's the pre-production, the production, the post-production. We don't know what's going on. We're just told, put this layer on here or, so there are times where we only have so much time and this episode needs to go out the door.
I'm not blaming
you. But it's just funny
I feel
how.
like you were friends. It's not your fault that I blinked and they used someone else's neck.
Oh, this is totally fun.
This is us morphing or demorphing. There's Chris holding his hands where I need to put my hand. And if you listen to the audio on this, you can hear me giggle too. Philip is scooching forward.
That is hilarious.
Getting into position. Everyone leaves us because we're obviously the stars of the show.
They'll run
Everyone
away
else leave. No. I don't know what episode this is, but when I saw somebody post this on Instagram, I was like, that is so cool. And then so many people sent it to me. It went viral on so many different pages. Obviously, we saw this in the dailies, but you just forget, what's in there. But it's funny. I mean,
I'm sure you did this a lot.
Yeah, and people think, wait, what? Like, if you read the comments, people are like, you ruined my childhood.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'll never look at it the same ever again. But it's pretty funny the way that we did it, and it's not super technical. Philip there, scooching.
I feel like this is more care than when I was working on it as far as lining things up. Man, things did not line up.
Oh gosh.
I've cut people apart into different pieces to get arms and heads and heights and whatever the same.
Yeah.
And so when I saw this, I'm like, oh, that's some care there to get the arm in the exact same place.
Well, Rick, I just think you're a creative genius.
Well, you're way too kind.
I really do.
I think you're a fantastic Power Ranger.
Really working on the show, even, you're there every single day. We're on one side of it and we don't know what's going on in the other building with all the editing and all the hard work that goes on. And you guys are there late at night and, watching the final edits while you eat your catering. And I mean, it's incredible. We don't see that stuff. And it's crazy how much work goes into this. People think it's just, some people are like, oh, that's just like a corny, cheesy, old school kids show. But I'm like, no, I mean, so much work goes into it.
Yeah,
so I appreciate you.
Well, thank you so much. That's so kind. And it's been so cool lately meeting Rangers and talking about the other side, because people always assume, oh, you worked on Power Rangers, you must know the Power Rangers. It's like, I don't know any Power Rangers.
Yeah, because
why would I know them? They're over in Valencia, I'm in Burbank, and two completely separate things.
I didn't even know you were in Burbank.
But it's totally fun.
I thought you were just in the next building over in Valencia with ADR.
Yeah, exactly.
You learn
but
something
life
new
has brought
every
us
day.
back together. It's been awesome meeting you. You're so kind. You're so fun. You're so generous with your time. And it's been awesome getting to know you and getting to know people like Jack. He's kind of okay.
Philip, he's like,
Yeah.
And Philip Andrew is even, But I hope they get to come on the show sometime.
I hope so too. But thanks for joining us today. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
And thanks for watching Behind the Power with Jessica Rey and a little bit of Rick Shick.
Wild Act.
Awesome.